is Jenkins and Jones, also by way of the Volume Sports. So if you're going to get a podcast, you're going to be getting that podcast. There's so much to unpack here, John and Tyler, starting with the fact that Draymond does not garner any sympathy from anybody given what he does and what he says on the court. So let's start with that. And then there's, of course, as Tyler and many others have pointed out, they come out the womb cussing like that in Boston. It was probably mostly kids doing it, or the adults were cussing like that when they were kids. So there's that. So don't even bring the kids into it.
You learn that.
But this what
you learn that.
This is what I want to know. Tyler, we'll start with you, and then you, John. This is what I want to know. What is the balance between FU Draymond going too far and the Warriors being a little too sensitive about it? What's the balance there?
I hate that I'm going to defend Boston fans here, but I think a F Draymond chant is completely within bounds. We saw that his wife was upset and his child was there, and Draymond said, we saw the clip that you showed about how Draymond's going to use that as a learning experience for his kid. I think that it's well within line. I think especially if we're grading Celtics fans on a Boston fan curve, they could have they have a history and a reputation of going way lower than that. I think that was actually them, kind of classying it up a bit. I don't think there's any harm, any foul on that. Like I said, Draymond seems to be taking it in stride. So it is what it is.
When it comes to fandom, that is like, that's what, PG-13, maybe PG-13, that chant. But I will say, does it make it right? It's not they're making a bigger deal, and I do think they're being more sensitive than they should. But I also understand it's not right. It has to be weird for a kid to hear a whole arena yelling "you Draymond" about their dad and the wife in a particular way. So I think the Warrior, I think it's weird on both sides. Like I'm not really a fan of fandom and how we treat athletes, but also think the Warriors are tripping because they press it a little bit, because the way they got their ass, well, if they won, they wouldn't have felt that way about it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a little bit too. Like, that's a repeatable ass whooping too. So I think they feel in a particular way after taking that L.
But you know what? As someone who lives here, okay, and when I first, and Mike, you know this name, Greg Moore. Greg Moore is a former managing editor of the Boston Globe. And so he's from Cleveland, I'm from Akron. So when I came for my job interview in Boston, he was like, first of all, you got to understand Boston. He said, don't think you can come here. He said, not that, you're a fighter. He said, don't think you can come here and think you go punk somebody, that anybody will try to whip your ass. Whether they can do it or not, they go try. That's just the Boston mentality. They're very confrontational. And so I think that's one. Two, you ever see that commercial? That Sam Adams commercial? It's your cousin from Boston, this real obnoxious dude. Okay, like, that's the way it is. And to your point, John, I would say, yes, it's weird to have somebody saying that about your dad, hey, F you, Draymond. But it's also weird, and I'm not saying family shouldn't be there because you're supporting your family, but wouldn't it be weird, for example, let's take Draymond out of it. Let's say you're Marcus Smart's girlfriend, and you're sitting there, and Marcus Smart turns the ball over, and somebody from front of you be like, damn it, Marcus. Again, he always does this stupid stuff. Like, there's so many things, non-profane things, that you can hear at a basketball game that will offend you. And it just so happens that the profanity is the extreme of it. But any family going to a basketball game, I guarantee you're going to be offended by something.
You know what you're getting yourself into, especially as Draymond's wife or girlfriend. Is it wife or girlfriend? His wife, right? As Draymond's wife.
That's his wife.
As Draymond's wife in Boston. You knew exactly what you're walking into. So I get that.
And I think
Draymond. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think in a weird sports way, Celtics fans hate Draymond because Draymond kind of turns up Celtics basketball a notch that they don't like to be on the receiving end of. You know what I mean? Like those antics that he does, they would love it if Marcus Smart did the same thing. You know what I mean? They would absolutely adore Marcus Smart if he pulled the same antics Draymond did. And getting a chant like that, in a way, it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of admiration.
Oh, it's a badge of honor.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Because like guys who they legitimately do not like Kyrie, they aren't giving Kyrie those chants. You know what I mean? But there's some admiration there on Draymond.
Yes, they do.
He's got him too.
He's got a whole but he's got them for different reasons. He got them for different reasons. See, this is their love language. We all agree on that. But Draymond is getting it out of a respect from an opponent standpoint. Usually that kind of vitriol is reserved for people that have spurned them, like a Kyrie, or for people who have spoken out about Boston's history or how Boston treats his players or how Boston treats opposing players. Draymond did none of that. Draymond just, went at Grant Williams. Draymond just dominated the game with his emotion in game 2. And one of the family. He did come at the family. But this is why I asked the original question. But this is why I asked the original question to John about what's the balance. And you went there exactly what I was feeling, John. It's like, and Michael, you said cousin a second ago. This is the precursor to the fan-athlete interaction that we all universally condemn. When fans take it too far, whether that's running on the court, whether that's touching players, whether that's, talking about players' families or calling them boy, all the things that end up making headlines that everybody says, whoa, we can't have that. Well, you just had F.U. Draymond in unison by an entire arena. What's the next logical step?
What's odd about it is that, you're talking about respect. You know what I mean? Opposing fans show respect or show hate to people that they know are good. If you're not good enough, they're not even going to put that energy towards you. But for me, it's just I don't know what the issue is with fandom. I don't know what it is. I don't know where the line is. I don't have that solution. I do think what they said is normal, but like I said, I don't know if it's right. And the next step we know is definitely not right. So where do we find a balance? I don't know. But I'm glad I'm the person to decide that.
Yeah, I think it's there's a lot of East Coast to this too. I'm just thinking about Yankees, Red Sox. I remember being at Yankee Stadium, and you out there in the bleachers, and they have all kinds of chants in the bleachers, and they take it pretty far too. But if you see a Red Sox fan out there, and let's say he does something or he spills a beer, they start the asshole chant, and they start pointing at that guy, and it's like a whole stadium. I mean, it's
hard to police it. It's cultural.
It's what I've been. You know what I mean? It's what I've been used to for almost 30 years here on the East Coast.
Yeah. No,
so
same.
I guess it is weird, but I'm just used to it.
But Tyler, I think you hit it on the head. If Draymond decided to walk out on, Causeway Street? What's the street right outside of TD Garden, Mike?
Yeah.
They'd all want to line up and take a picture with Draymond Green. But let me ask y'all this question. Tyler, this might be a little bit uncomfortable for you, but I know you can handle it. The only reason I even asked this is strictly because this is just like, the chant comes with the territory of playing in Boston and being a villain and all that kind of stuff. What comes with the territory when you suck the way Draymond Green did last night is questions about your focus from everybody from people on Twitter to people like Isaiah Thomas. Not Celtics Isaiah Thomas, Pistons bad boys Isaiah Thomas.
Question the Isaiah Thomas. Zeke.
The Isaiah Thomas.
Misspelled Isaiah Thomas.
Where does Draymond, Tyler, does he need to put the podcast on pause till the end of the finals? Or you going to keep getting this podcast?
Absolutely not. I think that the podcast jokes are well within line. I think that, Draymond can't wait to fire up that microphone tonight after this. I think, all those jokes are great. I think that actually, like when we saw the reporter ask him, do you think that people are listening to your podcast and getting intel? And Draymond just kind of undressed the guy, like, what X's and O's am I giving out? Like, I think that,
being stupid.
Yeah. Like I think that was a dumb question on the part of the reporter. I think that was a question where the reporter was questioning, Draymond's intelligence. Like he would be out here giving away vital information like that. Like, he basically said, Holford and Derek White and Marcus Smart, they killed us with the open looks game when we can't let that happen again. Like he said, that's the expense, the expensive as he gets there, right? Like benign, something we all know. So yeah, I don't think that it's a distraction. Like I said, I think the jokes are well within line. I think the jokes are hilarious. I think the jokes are cool because this is something very unique we've never seen before. Like a player who's this prominent on a championship team, on a dynasty, a potential dynasty in the making here, or perhaps in their second act. Who's podcasting about it in real time. Like we haven't seen that before. So it's new. It's like uncharted territory. I don't think it's a distraction though at all.
John, it's like if Charles Barkley was doing TNT while he was playing. In real time, he's like a media member and a player at the same time.
I mean, he's playing basketball, goes home and talks basketball. That's what he's doing, like in the most foundational way to explain it.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? Do we expect these players to just be athletes and not humans and do other things outside of that? His just happened to be extremely successful. We got Miles Bridges posting lean on Instagram. You know what I mean? What was, and then we ain't got one now. What was Michael doing after he got done playing?
We know what Michael was doing.
What was Magic and them doing? And they still found ways. I think the issue is Draymond's just not as good as he was. That's the issue. Yeah. And that's more of the problem. Is like we're expecting Draymond to be the Draymond we saw 2015, 2016, even 2017. He's not that Draymond anymore. You know what I mean? He's more of a what he does is show up on the stat sheet. You know what I mean? He's a QB, make sure the offense runs smoothly, and it does when he's on the court. And he's also the QB of the defense. So what he does vocally, setting screens, things like that, is where he's good at. So it's not going to show up on the stat sheet. I think it's weird that we're even talking about the fact that this podcast is distracting him. What are most athletes doing after games?
He's absolutely right, and you are absolutely right that how he spends his free time is his business, especially if that free time coincides with his day job. It's not like he's doing a podcast about decorating. It's not like he's doing a movie at night. But here's what I was going to say, Michael. Now I'll pass to you, Michael. I was just going to say this one thing. Ironically, because his game is getting in people's head, whether it's the back and forth with the aforementioned Cedric Maxwell, or whether it's just the chirping, the talking, which is supposed to be his strength, he's not bringing it. So whatever the reason is, that's why people, I think, are reaching for what's distracting you, what's in your head. Are you too busy being a brand? And I don't believe this necessarily. I'm saying I get where the questions come from, Michael. Okay. Are you too busy being a brand? Are you too busy being a media member? Are you too busy trying to be, an agitator that you're not producing the way you need to? Does that make sense, Michael?
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. Maybe that should have been a question. Don't you hate when somebody is coming to you No, I'm saying you got it right. The reporter last night.
Oh, okay, you mean the reporter. Oh, you mean the reporter.
No, I ain't coming at you like that. Come on. No, I'm saying the reporter last night should have
Tyler and John thought it too. They were like, damn. They thought it too.
Y'all think I'm that kind of dude?
Good content.
See, y'all think I'm disappointed. Y'all feel like I'm that kind of guy that would do something.
I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud, man. I'm trying my best here.
I would say the difference, John, I would say the difference between like what Jordan was doing off the court and Reggie Miller and everybody else is that it wasn't broadcast. Like we didn't know about it.
That's true.
So somehow it's not going to come back. We're not going to be talking about it a day later. Whatever you did last night, whether it was poker or, whatever. That's going to be with last night. But with Draymond, what you've done in your hotel room, now we're going to recycle that and repurpose that because maybe there's something we can use.
Especially
it's just an ongoing conversation.
Yeah. I will say this. I feel like there's a few guys we never really have to question their dedication to the sport. I think Draymond's one of them. We're like, we're not I don't think that anything matters more to Draymond at this moment. You feel me? And nothing matters more to him than winning this chip. He's just not playing. He didn't have a good game, and he's not the same Draymond we're used to seeing in these finals.
Yeah. And I think it just comes down to the flawed logic that sports fans have that, if an athlete loses, he just needs to go into exile, right? Like you don't need to do anything publicly.
Be in a fetal position.
Right.
Roll up in a big old ball and die like Lenny Williams.
Right. Exactly. If you're an athlete,
that's a slap too.
If you're an athlete and you lose, sports fans expect you to be like the Rocky IV training montage in Serbia. You know what I mean? Like that's what they want to see. They don't want to see you podcast. And I think that's just a flawed way of thinking. I think it it dehumanizes athletes. It makes them to be these robots who just, you know, everything crumbles when they lose and they can't go on and they just are you know, sunken in their misery about that, and that's just not how it is. I mean, because we didn't hear any of this buzz when the Warriors, you know, rolled, you know, the Western Conference. We didn't hear any of this Draymond's podcasting too much talk in there. Yeah. We didn't hear it until these finals when, you know, understandably so, Draymond is thinking it up. So.
And maybe just maybe they're running against a better team. Hey, listen, we love Draymond. We love his podcast. Draymond Green, if you listen to this, continue doing the second best podcast on the Volume 4. You got a long way to close that gap.
The numbers don't lie. You can have that.
Hey, that's just one man's opinion. That's one man's opinion. Okay? I'm just saying. We love y'all, man.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.